His hobby horse is, of course, military fortification. Whenever a person asks him to talk about his war days, since he was a war veteran, he actually enacts the entire sequence of the war. Now let's move on to the narrative technique of the novel. Now the novel follows a non-linear technique of narration, meaning there is no traditional usage of a proper beginning, a body, and an end. The narration is extremely disjunctured, and some critics point out that it is related to the narration of Tristram Shandy is related to the subconscious of our mind. Now, like our mind can at once be in our past or in the present, in the same way there is an oscillation or fluctuation between the past and the present. For instance, the novel begins with Tristram's conception, that is, before his birth, before his life starts, and it gets stranger from there, because after talking about his conception, the novel's narration goes further back to Tristram's family, to the other Shandys before Tristram was conceived. There is an incident where they talk about how it was a deal between Mr. and Mrs. Shandy, that means Tristram's parents, that the Tristram would be delivered in London. So this is even before his birth. That is how the narration is non-linear in pattern. The first chapter 1 of volume 1 begins with Tristram talking about how he will forever remain bitter with his parents because of a simple reason, as he blames them for his misfortune, since they did not conceive him out of love. Had they conceived him out of love, the mother would not have asked the father about whether he winded the clock or not during the sexual act of him being conceived. So Tristram blames his parents for his unfortune, all the misfortune that has befallen on him. After that, he digresses to people. There is a lot of digression. The word is digression, means going away. There are a lot of anecdotes in the novel. He digresses to people like Parson Yorick, to Widow Widman, to Dr. Slope and his inventions. So this way, that is the reason why the novel is 9 volume long. Each person gives his opinions. Each person's opinion has been placed forward. That leads to a lot of digression and anecdote, and when there is digression and anecdote involved, the novel will naturally have a very non-linear narrative to it. This is about the narrative technique of the novel, but the most important, the central point as to why this novel has been added to your syllabus is because of its unconventional approach. It is extremely a deviation from tradition. The narration is different. the way issues and opinions are handled is different. Moreover, the comedy is also extremely intelligent and witty. There is no conventional sort of comedy. There is no forced comedy that takes into place. These are the things that makes Tristram Shandy a very different novel that the critics of those times did not accept. However, the public loved the humor, and it is still now celebrated as one of the best comedies that was ever written. Now, to summarize everything, the most important things to remember in Tristram Shandy is its unconventional narrative technique. That is the first point. Second is the hobby horses, that goes back to Locke's empiricism, uh, the preoccupation of both the Shandy brothers, Walter and to Uncle Toby. Third is, of course, the comedy, the coincidences, the irony that leads to comedy of errors, and also digression and anecdotes that is involved in the novel.